Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to be here tonight with you. We had a good day today, and we was doing a service for a future revival coming up on Easter weekend. The Lord sent me into Ecclesiastes chapter 12, the last two verses. I want to read them to you right now if I could. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. I started out the message this morning of my concern and my concern for the church itself. I brought out how that we need to be concerned for family and friends. I'm not talking necessarily about mamas and daddies. I'm talking about Christians and the Lord. The overall well-being of the church, the revival. And, come pretty down on that, and Jesus' return for his people, the necessity of knowing his return and our relationship with him. But in verse 13, it tells us here to fear God. And I was trying to tell the people that it's not the fear of God, it's the awe of God. It's our desire to please the Lord. It's the awe of God, the awesomeness of God, standing before him, his ways. I think that would blow all of us away to just think about his ways, his honor that he is so righteously due, his will that is so righteously his will. When I read this verse, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear God and keep his commandments. God looks at our obedience. He looks at whether we're obeying him or not. And our obedience is our number one responsibility, where he says here, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Jesus knew that man was going to have an issue with the law. And Jesus came to fulfill that law. And I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that he didn't leave man where man has to feel that they have to be perfect. But God is looking at obedience. He doesn't want us to just say, well, we're under grace now, so therefore we don't have to do anything about being under the law. Well, Jesus came to fulfill the law. He's still looking for obedience. And that's what I was trying to tell the church today. But in verse 14, it says, for God shall bring every work into judgment, and every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. We will stand before God. You out there that is watching this video will stand before a holy God one day. I will stand before a holy God one day. All will be revealed on that day. Everything. There won't be nothing hid. You notice that it said in here, every secret thing, every work that you and I do, the work that I do, the work that you do, will all be revealed in his time. Known and unknown. This church that I'm doing the revival for has a revival every Easter. It's been a tradition for a long time, probably 50 years. And it's great that churches have revival, but just to do it in a tradition can very much miss the point of what God is trying to do. I commend them for having a revival. I think it's good. A lot of churches don't even have revivals. I don't know of a greater time to have one before the Easter Sunday message. But you know, Lord willing, we're going to see one more revival. It's going to be the weekend before Easter. We're going to have one more Easter if God tarries. We're not promised tomorrow, though. We're going to have one more time of meditation. One more time to examine ourselves. One more time of reflection. You know, I think a lot of times reflection is somewhat hard to do when we don't think that we're going to stand before God. But it says here that I believe that we are going to stand before God. And you know, we get warned every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, and we hear the message over and over and over again. And we get to the point where we think, well, that's just what the man says in the message. No, every person will stand before God. Every knee will bow to God. Every tongue will confess to God that He is Lord. I'm trying to make this as simple as I know how to make it. One more time of grace. One more opportunity of grace. But you know, the day will come when the grace will be over with. There won't be no more revivals. There won't be no more coming together. It's like I told the people today, God didn't come to speak to the benches. He come to speak to the people that are hungry, that need Him. He is coming back. He's going to bust them eastern skies, and He is coming back for His church. This is a revival that's coming up. I pray that it will be a success. But you know what? All I can do is proclaim. That's all my job is to be faithful, come up with a message that I believe the Lord will be pleased with. I pray that He was pleased with the message today. Thank y'all for listening.